cheapest is not always best. However, as a business owner, I can always confirm that you are probably going to say to yourself, you know what, Thayn, if I had an option of selling 100 burgers for 5,000 Rand, or I could sell 50 burgers for 5,000 Rand, you're going to choose 50, not so. Why should I sell 100 burgers for the same amount of money than if I could sell 50? Now that's the difference between volume and cost. Pick and Pay, Shoprite Checkers, OK Bazaars work on volume. That's why their prices are lower than the corner store, because they are going to make their gross profit by volume. We need to work on a cost basis, ladies and gentlemen. We are entrepreneurs. We don't have the capacity, many of us, to work on volume. So we've got to work on our cost. Mercedes-Benz sitting around a boardroom table. When they're working out the price for 2013 C-Class, do you think there's a financial director that puts his hand up and says, gentlemen, before we work out our price, should we not check what the price will be of a Tata Indica? They don't care about the Tata Indica because they are working on their costs. We need to do the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. Work on your costs and then shop around and see what the competition is doing. But Thayn, how can I do that? Well, the first thing I believe we do not do, we do not believe in ourselves. We do not believe that we offer value to our clients. And that's why we fall back on this price thing. You are valuable to your clients. Don't look at it from your perspective, ladies and gentlemen. Look at it from the client perspective. In Observatory many years ago, when I first started out my business, a client had a Department of Statistics form, 3 or 4 pages. He says, Thayn, I hate this form. I have to complete it. I would pay someone to complete this form for me. Now, of course, that's a sales signal to me. Now, I looked at the form and I knew that if 150 Rand, I could do this form. But I also knew that the big accounting firms, the big legal firms and the tax firms were charging 400 Rand for that same form. So I said to Sonia, Sonia, how much would you be prepared to pay for that form to be completed? So I wanted to see what it is from her side. She said, Thayn, I would pay 600 Rand to have that form completed. So I only charged her 250 Rand. Okay. Because I was going to charge her 150. The going rate was 400, so she got what she wanted, and I got a decent sale because the value that I offered was I would complete it in her offices. There had to be no hassle value for her. You need to do the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. Look at your business from the client perspective. Mop and Shop, Unati, I think was her name. She decided she's going to start a domestic cleaning business. And she's found the price was about 130 Rand a day, so she charged 140 Rand a day. I said, but Unati, are you not forgetting the value you're offering to your client? Are you not forgetting the benefits of using you? And sometimes we have to sell the sizzle, not only the steak. Tell people why it is so good to use you. Now, my wife has a domestic worker. If the domestic worker does not come to work on a Friday and my wife has to clean the house, she's going to be grumpy. Somebody has to look after the DSTV remote control, so she's got to look after the house. For me, using Unati would be a benefit because I know that on Fridays there will always be someone there to clean the house. If my domestic worker breaks a vase, who pays for the vase? Me. If I employed Unati and her domestic worker breaks a vase, who has to pay for the vase? She does. So for me, there's a benefit in that I don't have to worry about damages. I don't have to worry about an invasion of privacy. I don't have to... If I dismiss her, who goes to the CCMA? Me. If Unati dismisses her, she has to go to the CCMA. Absolutely. So all those benefits entitle me, I believe, and you to charge a better price than the average volume-based pricing. So how do we increase our prices? Well, I believe we need to increase them regularly and by smaller amounts. Your client also budgets. He does not like irregular increases and big amounts. So I would rather pay a 10% increase this year, 10% increase the next year, 10% increase the next year, than nothing this year, next year 25%, nothing the following year, next year 30%. They don't like that. There are ways of increasing your price. Now, can you remember if you went to a certain store that shall remain nameless about 6 months ago and you saw their bread rolls? The bread rolls, 18 Rand. You go now, those same bread rolls are still 18 Rand. And you think to yourself, man, they haven't increased their prices. But have you seen how small those bread rolls have got over 6 months? So they have increased their prices, but by just decreasing the volume of what they're offering you. And look at that. Can you remember when Coca-Cola was 340 mils? Now what is it? 330 mils. Price is still the same. So maybe I like to be transparent and I like to tell my clients I'm increasing the price because of fuel price. What else to be blamed? Dollar exchange rate, CPI, inflation. But tell your clients. Okay, ladies, so there are ways to increase your price. But my favorite one, my absolute favorite one, is the pizza chaps. Somebody must have sat down in head office and said, how can we make more money out of pizza? So what they did was they took a thin roll of boerewors. You know those little cocktail rolls? $5 for the roll this big, maybe. And then they took that piece of boerewors and they wrapped it, ladies and gentlemen, around a margarita pizza, which normally cost $49.99. And they wrapped this little boerewors around the pizza, and then they covered it with some pastry. Did they increase the price by 5 Rand? No, they increased it by 25 Rand. And we thought this is wonderful. It's a new pizza. So maybe there are things in your business that you can do to add value and then increase the price. Because price is a determinator of your gross profit. And as we've heard, gross profit is what drives the ability to pay your monthly expenses. On your page, can you write the following for me? Purchases, it's a formula. Purchases divided by average creditors. Now, creditors are the people that you owe money to. Purchases divided by average creditors. So if you do the math, and your purchases are 100, and your average creditors are 50, the answer is 100 divided by 50. Sorry, Mr. Accountant, I have to say this. 100 divided by 50 equals 2. You're following that? Then what you do is, if you're doing this over 12 months, you take 12, because that's the period you're working on, and you divide it by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. Does that make sense? That means your creditors are being paid on average every 6 months. Purchases divided by average creditors, the answer divided by 12 divided by the answer will give you the amount of time that you take to pay your creditors. And you want to be as long as possible. From a managing your outflow perspective, what you want to do is do that calculation that I've just shared with you and check it on a regular basis to see how you are managing your outflows. So, timing is important.